Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I have a 1-year-old son. I started this podcast for any mother who might feel alone in their journey through motherhood. Becoming a mom is hard no matter how you get there, and this podcast is about the mom stuff that comes up in our lives. Listen, enjoy, and connect with us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and today it is just me. I did not realize how busy my life would be between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and I was going to try and have Teresa on, and I honestly have been recording my podcasts for November and December in very odd times during the days or weeks. This podcast is taking place during my son's nap, which hopefully he will nap the whole time that I can get this podcast through, because he is a little sick today, which I will get to. So hopefully I can do that. But a lot of my other podcasts have been with my husband, really late at night or really early in the morning before my son has woken up. So we have really just been trying to fit them in. It's a busy time of year for everyone. And I have never really felt a year where there has been a rush for Christmas stuff. And I knew Thanksgiving was late this year, and that, maybe like the week before Thanksgiving that people might start to put stuff up or start talking about putting stuff up. But I have had so many people say, like, is it too early to put it up, my stuff? I know it's the week after Halloween, but I need to put it up. And I really have been thinking about why this year, maybe I'm noticing it more this year, because last year I was, let's see, my son was about 6 months old, so I was just barely 7 months old. So I was just, barely getting through the days, still trying to figure out what to do. And I was still just learning how to walk again, after breaking my leg. So I don't think I noticed anything last year. And this year I just seem to highly notice things. And I think the most important part of that I'm feeling this year is, I've had a lot of sadness in my life lately. There's been a lot of unexpected deaths. Luckily not too close to my family, but close enough, and a lot of scares. And I think that sometimes that holiday spirit and decorating just gets us into the spirit that, it lifts everyone's attitudes and spirits so that they feel better about the day. And so my husband and I, we'll go back and forth on this all the time, that the Christmas decorations are for after Thanksgiving. And I think each year he loses a little more of that, but you'll hear, we'll do an episode, in a week or two about, how, we decorate for Christmas. But I did start this weekend, and I put up my mom had Spode Christmas dishes. And so when my husband and I got married, she gave me the Spode dishes. So now they are in my house, and I've maybe bought like 2 or 3 things to add to the collection, and that is it. And it is a full collection. Everything does not fit into my china cabinet for the stuff that's on display. People seem to think that the more gifts they give me about it, like that'll help. And it's like, I have enough. We do not need any more Christmas stuff. I'm really trying to pare it down. I'm really trying not to buy anything. This is the first year we haven't bought anything for Christmas. And the only thing that I think I'm going to buy for my son, like for a holiday decoration, is one of those felt Christmas trees that goes on the wall, so he can like take things off and put things on it. Because I think that's probably the best bet with a tree for him this year. I don't think I trust him with really anything else. Not that he's bad. We have, besides the Christmas dishes being up, I did put up our Christmas tree in our gym, and and it was kind of like a practice for my son, so that I could see what he would do touching wise, basically, with the tree. And if you would try and like pull it or yank it or really look at the ornaments, I still think we'll have to put the ornaments up pretty high. We won't have to have, I mean, high for him, high for my son. So we probably, the bottom, 2 feet of our tree might look very sparse next to all the other ones, but all the other branches. But I think that's all right. And I really thought about getting just a fake Christmas tree for my son for his room. And I remember I started looking, and I have, we have a bunch of trees in our house, which you'll hear about in a future episode. But I normally go to Target and get like one of the, basic, like, I don't know if they're 5 or 6 foot trees with lights on them. And it's been a problem because the lights aren't lasting like a year or two after we buy the tree. And so now I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy trees with the lights on anymore. I'll just buy a string of lights, because if those don't work, then whatever, I can replace them. But it's really getting annoying that every year I have to buy to replace one of my Christmas trees. It's just not manageable. So I went to go look at the trees, and I am utterly shocked about the price of them. I remember when I used to go to Target to get those trees, and they were maybe $30. And I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago, that they were $30. And it was like a steal on Black Friday because they were $20. And now they're $70. And then on Black Friday, they're coming down to $50. It's so ridiculous. I cannot believe the markup that everyone. I mean, we went to so many stores yesterday, and I'm like, I'm not paying $60 for, first of all, a tree with no lights, and a tree that I bought 2 years ago that was half the price or even a third of the price on sale the week before Thanksgiving. So, of course, if you don't know, I don't want to say cheap, but I do not like spending money, and I do not like spending money on things that I know are outrageously priced just because. So what we're going to do is we're just going to string on lights over the lights that don't work on the trees that we have, and we're just going to deal with it because no one really cares. We have so many trees, and the main tree that's in our front hall, we bought that on QVC a bunch of years ago, and I'm not concerned because that's a lifetime guarantee. So if it doesn't work, then they have to give us a new tree. So it doesn't matter. So we're all set with that. So that's just what we're going to do this year. And I'm still in utter shock that that's how much Christmas trees cost. And I don't, it's clearly because they know they can mark them up because people keep buying them, and they are not clearly making them to last very long. So that's about it. So then let's talk, why were my husband and I out yesterday? So if you don't know, we never go out to eat. And I honestly mean never. I cannot even remember the last time my husband and I were out together at the same time eating a meal that was not Panera. And even that, I would say the last time we ate at Panera was probably in the spring, and this is November that I'm recording this. I'm recording this the Sunday before this episode goes up, so 4 days beforehand. So this is, I don't want to say in real time, but I mean, it's pretty much up to date. And I couldn't even tell you the last time my husband and I ate at a restaurant. I mean, it had to have been before Panera. So maybe last Christmas at some point, when we went out for some meal for some reason. That was probably it. So when I say we don't go out to eat a lot, we don't. Mostly because we always have my son with us, and it's always hard to tell how he's going to do at Panera. Whatever, you can get up and leave. At Chick-fil-A, whatever, we can get up and leave. But everywhere else, it's just not as enjoyable sometimes. But I had my son with me to visit some friends last week, and we were out at a restaurant. My son did really well. And my husband and I don't want to say we have a deal, but we're trying to use these gift cards that people have given us for restaurants, because the one that we used last night was 9 years old. Someone gave it to my husband 9 years ago. That was before he met me. So I was like, I don't even know if this is going to work. And And of course, it was to like the Olive Garden, which is not a place we would normally go ever. But we had the gift card and we were going to a place. We were going to like a Target and another store that was near an Olive Garden. So we were like, all right, we have to use this gift card. Like let's just do it. I did not feel like cooking last night at all. And it was kind of colder up here. And so we couldn't really play outside with my son. So we were just trying to get him out and about. So that's what we were trying to do yesterday. So we went to Target, and of course I already knew the prices of the trees, but I don't know why I think they're going to change, but whatever. They did not in the week that I had gone last time to look. And so then we ended up, I don't know, there was like one other store we went to, and it was like $4.40. And my husband's like, oh, let's just go to Olive Garden now. He's like, we're probably going to have to wait. And I was like laughing. I'm like, of course we're not going to wait. It's like $4.40. Who is having dinner at $4.40 on a Saturday? And we go in there, and of course there's a wait. But it wasn't really a wait. It was just a wait for wait staff to arrive to work. And I guess they all come in at 4:45. So we had like maybe a 5-minute wait. And then we were seated. So that was kind of good. And we ate, and my son, of course, was like perfect. I don't know why I get nervous that he's not going to be good in a restaurant, because he's such a good child to begin with. And I know he's going to be good in a restaurant because there's food and he's always hungry. So he'll be fine. So he was good. He ate the tomatoes out of the salad, and he'll always try lettuce. He every time he thinks it's something new, and he'll try it. So I always give him a piece, and he always tries it, and he hates it and gives it back to me, which is fine. So, and then he ate his food, and that was fine. And I got to eat my food, and that was fine. And then the big culminating event was, did the gift card really work 9 years later? And that's what I was concerned about, because it was I don't know, it was like a $15 gift card. So maybe it covered like one of our meals total. And they had one of those like pay stations on the table. Like it's like those little computers where you can pay. And the $15 gift card did work. So that's it. I don't know if we'll ever go to Olive Garden again. And my husband always says the only reason he would never he doesn't go to Olive Garden is because I make all the same foods at home, minus maybe the stuff with shrimp in it. And he likes my cooking better, which is like the nicest compliment ever. So I was like going out to any restaurant on a day that I don't have to cook. But I actually love cooking, which is why we don't go out a lot. So, I mean, I'd rather be cooking our stuff and knowing what's in my son's food. I'm one of those people. I've become much more relaxed about that, but I still like, I just don't like him having, like, mac and cheese is fine, but I like making it myself so I know, and I can like throw in some vegetables and stuff like that. And my son was really good last night because he ate some broccoli on the side. Or his trees. He ate his special trees for dinner, and he was good with that. So all in all, it was a good thing. But my husband and I had a little bit of a debate when we left at 5:30, and I was like, oh, look at us out on a Saturday night. And my husband was like, you can't say that we're out on a Saturday night if we're done eating at 5:30 and it's just getting dark. So, and I guess I don't know. I don't know if it matters or not, but I can't even remember the last time we were out even at a store past 5:30 on the weekends. For some reason during the week, we have no problem doing that. But on the weekends, I guess we just don't leave our house, especially because we eat dinner at home normally. So we wouldn't then go out to a store after dinner on a Saturday or a Sunday night. So it was just very thrilling, because after that we went to a Barnes & Noble, where I found out many parents go with their small children at that time of night. And there are about like 6 or 7 of like the same exact like parent situation with a kid around a year and a half old running around. And I think it's hard at Barnes & Noble because I think like, oh, well, there's all these books, but it's not just the books. It's all the stuffed animals. And of course, my son runs to all of them. And right now we're into Baby Shark. That kind of has slowed down a little bit. We had like 2-3 weeks of all all we could do was Baby Shark. Everything was Baby Shark. But now we're on to the Wheels on the Bus. So everything is Wheels on the Bus. So we still enjoyed it. Of course, my son only wanted to read the books that we have home at Barnes & Noble, which you would think is your break to not have to read those same books that you see all the time at home. But no, those are the books. And I tried to read other books and introduce new books to my son, and he just wasn't having it. He just wanted the same books. So I read the same books that we all have at home, and I read those a bunch of times. But that was good. It got us out of the house for a little longer. And of course, this morning, my son wakes up a little sick. So not horribly sick. It's very hard to explain. It's hard to tell if I think it's teething and just the cold weather in general. So of course, when little kids have coughs, it sounds like horrendous. It like breaks your heart every time they cough. It's like, oh my gosh, they must have pneumonia. And meanwhile, it's probably like nothing. It's just like a normal cough, but it just sounds so severe when they cough. Ugh, it just gets to be so much. And he must be a little sick because he took like an extra nap already this morning when he was with my husband. And he's upstairs now taking his regular nap. So I have a feeling that he'll still nap, just not as long. And then he'll want to snuggle with one of us, and he'll probably sleep another extra hour with that. So hopefully he'll do that so that we will then be able to get him to feel better and rested for the week. The last thing I'm going to talk about, because all my episodes between now and even the beginning of the beginning of January will probably be shorter episodes, just because, first of all, it's me just talking for most of these episodes, with my husband on a few of them. And also, this is just the time of year where everyone just doesn't have as much time. So I figured I'd shorten up the episodes a little bit because everyone else is just as busy as I am, if not more. So the big thing that I'm going to talk about is, I don't think it's the big thing, it's just the last thing, is the 40-day sugar fast. If you listen to the podcast since last year, I did a 40-day sugar fast with this woman, Wendy Speak, who I've talked about in other episodes also before. And she does a 40-day sugar fast. It's at the beginning of January. I want to say it's January 8th. I'll be posting it on Instagram a bunch of times, so you'll see it. But I just think it's such an important thing, and people are like, "Oh, I can't go 40 days without sugar, or I can't do this," and it's all this stuff. She has a book, 40-Day Sugar Fast. It's on Amazon, I think, for like $10, and I'll link it in the show notes, and I'll link the 40-Day Sugar Fast in the show notes also. But this was something that totally changed my life 100%. And I'm not going to talk about all of it because part of the sugar fast is you learning about yourself and things like that. The fast really, something that came across as, I can't do it. I can't live without sugar for 40 days. We're talking about not having sweets for 40 days and not really high processed foods with corn syrup in them. That's pretty much, that's like the basic rule there, is those are the things, and drinks with sugar in them. So I think what people get hung up on is I could never do that for 40 days. And I think about it, and it's a temporary thing. We're not saying for the rest of your life you're going to give up sugar. It's 40 days. And sometimes people are like, don't understand the amount of time 40 days is. So let's say it goes from January 8th. It normally stops the day after Valentine's Day, so February 15th, because the goal is to get through Valentine's Day without having those sugary sweets. And I remember last year, because I kept a journal and a diary every single day, and I read back. And there's so much that I learned last year, but the biggest thing that I learned is that I could do it. And I made some major life changes, and I didn't change everything about my eating habits, and I'm not like perfect about them, but I definitely am more mindful, and there are some positive changes that I have made. And So I'll give an example. For example, at work, if anyone brought in something, I would always eat it. I would always be like, oh, well, they made it, so I should eat some. And now I like hardly do that. And I've really become more disciplined where I don't really eat if people bring things in like cupcakes or cookies or things like that. Like I can resist them. It's not something at school. I eat the food that I bring. And one of the things that I do bring are those Lara bars, and I make sure that that is what I'm eating as a snack at school, along with either a fruit or a vegetable. That's like my snack that I bring. And I always have, and sometimes I have popcorn in my desk also because I don't have time to eat fruits or vegetables in my classroom. But sometimes I can sometimes I can eat popcorn in a quick way in between classes. And I always bring my lunch, obviously. And I'm trying to bring as much as I can, just a salad with chicken on it every single day. And that's pretty much my goal. And that's been working out really well. And it's just been like a lifestyle change to decrease the amount of sugar in my diet. I used to have a ridiculous amount of sugar in my diet, and I still have more than I want. And I think with each sugar fast, I am going to improve a little more on that. And I will also say that I decreased the amount of sugar leading up to the sugar fast. So it wasn't like I was just going cold turkey all of a sudden one day. And when I stopped the sugar fast, some people say like, oh, things tasted sweeter, or they didn't want stuff as much. And it really took me a while to even have sugary things or sweets in my diet, but I definitely decrease them overall. And I just think it's if you've always done something and you've always been trying to decrease the amount of sugar, I just suggest that you try the sugar fast. Nothing bad can happen from you. It's only for women. It's a group of women. There is a lot of biblical references and things like that, and I was not familiar with all that stuff to begin with. I'm not even going to say I am now, but I have messaged Wendy so many times, and she has helped me through it. She wants to help other people, and all I can say is that she really wants everyone to succeed. So I think that's something that you all should look into. So I will have information in my show notes. There will not be a show on Thanksgiving. I am not that good. So the next episode will be in December, and I will have 3 episodes in December. I will not have one the week of Christmas, and I don't know when January 1st I think January 1st is a Wednesday. So I think I will have a show on the 2nd for you guys, girls, ladies, who knows, whoever's listening, mothers. So I'll have something up for you. Those are pretty much just the normal, typical times off. And I would love to say that I could record shows and have them for you over those times, but I just, we all have our times, and this is just my time to be busy. So I hope you all have a good week, and I will talk to you soon. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.